continue with our class Kosher Kitchen, and we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and it says the topic between the teacher and student, teachers and student. Okay, Lashon Hara initiated by children and accepted as a fact by their believing parents is often the cause of the major injustice. It happens all too often that one or two key students in the class arbitrarily take dislikings of their teacher, and the story exaggerated and circulated. Well-meaning parents accept their children's accounts as they're going on accounts of the going on at school, and before long the teacher finds himself struggling to defend his position. So let's try to understand. Right? So children are nice and sweet, but sometimes they lie, even if those are our children. But they don't see it as lie, they just have this imagination working very well. Right? So one more time. Lashon Hara initiated by children and accepted by their believing parents. So a child came, this innocent child, and told what happened. Maybe he's or she did not behave in school very good, right? So it's also very, very possible, right? And then come and tell their stories, okay? And parents believe, right? And often the cause of major injustice. So we have to be careful when, right? I mean, whoever is the teacher, when somebody tells on somebody else, it does not mean that is true. If children, and you would say, yeah, innocent children, why would they lie? Yeah, as he said, it's often happened. It happens all too often that one or two key students in class arbitrarily take a disliking of the teacher, and stories are exaggerated and circulated. Meaning that they maybe they have a reason, but not enough reason. So of course it's all made up stories, right? Just maybe the teacher was not as good as they wanted to them personally. Well-meaning parents accept their children's accounts as of the going on at school, and before long, teacher finds himself struggling to defend his position, right? So of course this parents come to school and start complaining, right? And fortunately, if too many people complain, even there is no basis, so this teacher may lose a job. Chas v'shalom. Right? As every adult knows, students' dissatisfaction is not necessarily an indication of the teacher's inadequacy as an educator. The student's version of the situation must be considered, but not accepted as a fact. A thorough and discreet investigation, one which does not cause the teacher embarrassment, must be conducted before the teacher is declared at fault. A teacher too must avoid believing accusation directed by students against one another. Here too the investigation is called for, and unless the fact can be established, no action should be taken. Okay, so it's actually, of course, as we understand, work both ways. 1 second. 1 second, technical issues. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Okay, I think we're good now. Sorry. Okay, so let's do it again. Every adult knows that student dissatisfaction not necessarily indication of teacher inadequacy as an educator. So right. So I mean, it's only normal as if you're a child or even adult, so whatever subject you like, right? And you're getting good grades because you like it and you're trying to learn. So you like the teacher almost automatically, right? And whether it's hard for you or you don't care much, so automatically you don't like the teacher. I think it's obvious. right? So just because our children say whatever, not our, whatever, children in general say that there is a problem with the teacher, most likely it's not. Right? The student version of situation must be considered, but not accepted as a fact. So basically, you have to do investigation. How to do investigation? It's not so simple. I'm not sure how would they do it. Right? A thorough and direct investigation, one would not cause a thorough and discreet. I'm sorry, a thorough and discreet investigation. I don't know. Maybe talk to other children. Just ask them. Right? One which does not cause the teacher embarrassment must be conducted before teacher is declared at fault. Right? So sometimes maybe leave the door open, something like that. You can hear what is going on, because in the show in many classes they just leave the door open. Right? So just come and listen, and you know for yourself. Continue. Right, so basically, just we're not allowed to believe as parents what the children say about the teacher. Right, and 1 second, and the last one, teacher too must avoid believing accusation directed by the student against one another. So they would come and complain, he did this to me, she did that to me. Okay, so maybe you have to, in all of these cases, as we said, we have to do investigation. And this investigation, even like in my mind, even if you say that I'm going to check that, so it should stop a child, right? So meaning that if we can investigate and find him lying, so that would be big embarrassment to him. Here to investigation is called for, and unless the facts can be established, no action should be taken. Meaning, if one child came complaining against another one. Okay, stop there. Any questions on what you said? Okay, no problem. So we continue. It's very interesting chapter number 9, and our topic is avoiding problem while washing dishes. And last time we covered, like last time we covered was a summary, and now they give us a table. So let's try to follow this table, and I'll do my best to explain what it says here. Okay. So the subject is flatware. For example, a spoon washed in a hot pot of pot. Okay. So meaning what to do with the pot. Okay. Okay. So flatware, spoon washed in a hot pot of pot. Okay. So again, as we said last time, it's it's hypothetical cases, right? So it's not like something was washed in a sink. Sink topic is the next one. I just looked up. Okay, so it's here like to give us idea what to do in different cases. Okay. So let's see. Clean meat and dairy spoons. So we have clean meat and dairy spoons that it was washed with the hot water. So above Yatzaladas bowl in a pot of pot. So basically, we try to understand what to do with the pot. That's the question. So clean meat and dairy spoon. Clean meat and dairy spoons. Okay. So first situation, both spoons were ben yama. Okay. Both spoons and pot must be koshered. Ashkenazi custom. So meaning okay. So the pot was parv, and we washed in this pot 2 spoons. One is meat and one is dairy. I apologize, I didn't get it like right away. They say spoons, but they say for example spoons. Okay, but it's actually 2 spoons, right? One is meat and one is dairy, and they washed in in a paref pot, and both of them were used in during the past 24 hours, but they were clean. Okay, so Ashkenazi custom is to kosher the spoons and the pot. Okay, so again, why? Because it was used in the past 24 hours. Continue. So next situation. One spoon was not ben yamo. Okay, so one spoon was used in the past 24 hours, and one is not. So again, we care about the taste, meat and milk together. That's our thing. Okay. Okay. So again, both of them were clean, but one of them was used in the past 24 hours. One of them was not. Both spoons and pot are unaffected, and water is discarded. Okay, so which is good. So there is no real mixture, and we don't care about this taste from the spoon, like going into the pot. Okay, no problem. So next situation, both spoons are soiled and not known to be clean. So very interesting. So whether they ben yama or not ben yama, or one of them ben yama, both spoons and pot must be kosher. I mean, if soiled, it's always right. So I guess when both of them ben yama and they're clean, according to Sephardic custom, they would not kosher. Okay, as we said, in many cases, Ashkenazi custom is most strict. Okay, no problem. Continue. So next situation: one spoon is soiled or not known, and the other is clean. Okay, one more time. One spoon is soiled for sure, or not known, and the other is clean. I'm not sure why he say not known. Okay, but let's see. And both of them were ben yama, so both of them were used in the past 24 hours. One is dirty and one is clean. Okay. So both spoons and pot must be koshered. Okay. So now different situation. So again, the same condition. One spoon is soiled or unknown, and the other is clean. And both of them not ben yama, meaning they were not used for in the past 24 hours. Meaning even this dirty spoon, the first one, was not used in the past 24 hours. Okay, so basically the question is, it still considered to be food, this residue, or because it's spoiled, it's not food? So that's the question. So the solution: if spoiled spoon is ben yama, soiled. If soiled ben yama, I mean it was used today, and the clean spoon is not ben yama, so that's the worst case, right? The soiled spoon is unaffected, and the clean spoon must be koshered. Okay, right? How it can be affected from what? From a clean spoon that is not ben yama, of course, right? But the clean spoon, yes, it is affected. The clean spoon is affected and must be kosher. If the soiled spoon is not ben yama, meaning 2 days they did not wash the dishes, right? But it's soiled, and the clean spoon is ben yama, both spoons, of course, and the pot must be koshered. Okay. Next situation: the spoons were clean and washed successively. So there should be no problem. Okay. So okay, that's what it says. So in both cases, okay, if they both ben yama, meaning used today, there is no problem because it's not simultaneously, or one spoon was not binyama, so it says spoons and pot are unaffected, which is good. So one after another. So next situation, the spoons were soiled or not known and washed successively. Again, one after another. So only okay. So whether it is both spoons were binyama or one was non binyama, it says one must consult Rav with regard to the second spoon. So first spoon, there's no problem whatsoever, right? So the issue would be with the second spoon. What would he say? I guess he would ask how hot the water was, right? So continue, next one. The spoons were washed in a kli sheni. So kli sheni is a second vessel, meaning we warm up the water in a pot, right, and then pour in another one, and wash our spoons in that one. So it says one must consult Rav. So again, the temperature of the water. Okay. So next one, the spoons were washed with detergent. Okay. So, and again, in both the situation where both spoons binyama were used today, clean, but binyama, or one spoons and not binyama. So it says most poskim rule that in all cases the spoons and pot are unaffected. Nevertheless, Rav should be consulted. So I think, as I said last time, I think in most of the cases it would be the scenario when we used detergent, so to kill the taste, basically. Okay, so B. So now this B, I mean, it's more, I think, practical to us. Then of course people wash in pots, but not as often as in a sink, I think. So let's see. So section B, use of one sink for both meat and dairy dishes. So that's more common. Okay, so 1 second, let me see. Okay. So we go, it's like introduction first, so let's do the introduction and then we see. Okay. So it should be apparent. It should be apparent that the use of one sink for both meat and dairy dishes is fraught with a Kashrus problem. Okay, as we understand. Since dishes being washed are usually soiled, I mean, I guess always soiled, I mean, most likely. Therefore, no difference between the Sephardic and Ashkenazic tradition. Okay, the hot tap water in most homes is Yatzel Bo. Okay. And may have been the start of Irui Kli Rishon. I'm going to explain. In the course of the washing the meat and dairy dishes, the sink comes in contact with meat and dairy. A residue absorb the taste and may become treif. Very simple, right? One let's stop here and we go. Let's do this piece again. It's like part of the introduction and a few commentaries. It should be apparent that the use of the sink for both meat and dairy dishes is fraught with a kashrus problem. Okay, so we understand it's always going to be residue on the bottom or on the side where it's going to splash. So for sure, and if you wash meat, let's say in the morning you eat dairy or something, right? And then you wash your dishes. Now you will try to wash after the meat lunch, for example. So for sure, so you have a mixture down there, for sure, right? Since the dish is being washed, are usually soiled. So if not soiled, as we said, one after another, there is leniency. But here it's for sure, right? Soiled. There is no difference between Sephardic and Ashkenazic tradition. So let's see commentary. If the dishes were clean, one would be permitted to wash daily daily dishes in a meat sink if they were clean, according to opinion of Shulchan Aruch. However, since the dishes are soiled, the rule of not bar not, so meaning what is it, through the liquid, right? Taste from the wall to the liquid to another utensil. The rules of not bar not do not apply to Sephardic or Ashkenazic tradition, should be the same. Although there is a lenient consideration, see Igros Moshe, the consensus of all poskim is that initially one should acquire 2 sinks if possible. So that's as we said many times, 2 sinks if possible. And even if it's a rented apartment, I mean, if you're planning to stay there long enough, it does not cost that much money. You don't have to buy the best sink, but the double sink for sure. It's save a lot of headaches. Okay. So continue. The the hot tap water in most homes is Yatzel Bo. So that's as we said, when the hand recoils. Although one usually mixes cold water with hot water while using the sink, and the tap water may not be Yatzel Bo, the leniency should be only used in an ex post facto situation. I mean, I understand what they're saying here, but as we said, Yatzel Bo, when your hand recoils, it's pretty hot. I mean, of course, according to the lenient opinion, maybe it's not that hot, but according most strict, it's very hot. It's very hot. So most likely people don't wash with this kind of temperature, according to the strict opinion. According to lenient opinion, no, opposite. According to lenient opinion, they would not use, but according to strict opinion, for sure. Okay, so let's see. So again, but as a commentary say that we can rely on a leniency that it was below the Yatzel Bo, but only in the case of need, after the fact. So that's why when they say consult the Rav, so that they don't tell you right away, because people will take it as a rule, and we don't want to make it a rule. Okay. So again, the whole sentence: the hot tap water in the most homes at Yatzel Bo, and may have been status of Irui Kli Rishon. So Irui Kli Rishon, it's as we explained before, is a stream that comes from Kli Rishon, and it attaches to the base, right? So it's the stream that comes from Kli Rishon, the first vessel, into the second vessel. Okay, commentary. Number 25. The hot water flows in uninterrupted manner. So it's very important. The word is uninterrupted. I missed it, but it's very important. I mean that's. I mean in my mind that's how I explain. Right? You have you pour from the vessel. Yeah, it's uninterrupted. It's connected to the source. Okay. The hot water flows in uninterrupted manner from the boiler, right? Which is Kli Rishon. Okay, Kli Rishon meaning the water was warm up in this boiler. Simin Chaskinuch 2, chapter 100 contends that this may have been stronger form of Irui Kli Rishon, since the boiler may be actually heating the water while it flows from the tap. Very interesting. Although Igros Moshe says disagree with many of the points raised by Minchas Yitzchak, he contends that initially one should avoid the problem and wash meat and dairy dishes directly in one sink, even after one after another. What he is saying, so it is for sure, Minchas Yitzchak saying that the water is in a boiler. it's much hotter even than that, right? Because new water comes in and it's like can continue warming up. So I like sensor needs like in order for sensor like to work, it says this some kind of like a range, maybe 5 degrees, 10 degrees, I don't know, well, whatever is it. But they're not so precise because new water is coming. So the hot water that's going out of the heater, it could be much higher, much hotter. That's what he's saying. Okay, so in the course of the washing meat and dairy dishes, the sink comes in a contact with meat and dairy residue, so it's for sure. Absorb their taste also, like for sure, and becomes treif. I mean, what does it mean treif sink? It's not like we're going to eat from the sink, but if we put the plate down, that's would be the problem. Okay, that's would be the problem. Or plate or like spoons, well, anything. One with the financial and practical ability should install 2 kitchen sinks, one for meat and one for dairy. The ease of use and avoidance of numerous problems make this worthwhile investment. One who must use one sink for both meat and dairy should follow one of the following opinions. Okay, so we're going to get to opinions. Okay, of course, the best would be, as we said before, you have a big, huge kitchen. One is a sink for meat and is on the right. That one is on the left. That's the best, of course. That's nobody is arguing. So second best is and as a cheaper solution is to install the sink into your existing home, right? So, I mean, if it's for market, it's easy to cut a little bigger piece because the double sink, it's not exactly double, like they're not the same. One is always bigger and one is maybe not always, but in many times they're not equal. So for in my house, the dairy one maybe half the size of this one, right? Of the meat one. Right. So is it much bigger than regular? Maybe a little bigger. Maybe yes, maybe no. I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay. So continue. So now okay. So if you have means, that's what you must do. Otherwise, he said follow one of these opinions. So opinion number one. I mean, in number, it's not number one is the best, but no, but it's actually said the best method. Okay, forget it. The best method. The best, though at least practical solution is never to place any dishes or cutlery into the sink itself. So that's what it's obvious. All pots, dishes, and cutlery should be washed while being held in one's hand. Okay. We actually said it's possible if it's actually like possible if you use these dish pans to soak your dishes, and you wash the grease, right, and then you only do the rinsing in the sink. So in this case, it's very practical, right? When you rinse the dishes, you hold it in your hands or spoons, well, whatever you do. Okay, so it's actually practical, but he said it would be the best. Never put anything down on the bottom of the sink. Okay, so I guess the problem, I'm just thinking out loud. The problem would be with pots. If you have a big pot and then you need to wash it, and you pour all of the water, like how are you exactly going to help with one hand? I'm not sure. That would be the hardest, I guess. Okay, but it's. He said solution number one. Okay, solution number two, alternative methods. One who finds the above solution impractical may wash both type of dishes in a sink, provided that he ensures that A, no dishes or pots touch the sink bottom or side bottom. I'm not sure. I mean, on the bottom you can put this like rubber mat or something, or some kind of rack. Okay, but like metal rack, so like with legs, so you would put your dishes on top. Okay, possible. But also he said, do not touch the walls. I don't know. I mean, the sink is not that big. Unless you put like all of the plates or like in one stack, yeah, they're not going to touch the walls. The dishes do not contact with water collected in a sink. Yeah, so as I say, if you have some kind of rack with the legs, like some uplifted a little, so it should be fine. So the sink, so your dish is not going to have a contact with the water collected in the sink. Okay, this can be accomplished through one of the two methods. Here we go, and reflect two opinions, one stringent and one lenient. Okay, so now we're going to use one sink, and we're planning to put things wherever we wash into the sink. Okay, so we can use one of two methods. A, stringent opinion. In the opinion of some authorities, dishes should never be put directly onto the sink. Dishes should be washed only in the metal or plastic basin inserted in a sink, one for meat dishes and one for dairy, and one for parv, unless one washes parv utensil while they're held in one's hands. The tap water should pour directly onto the basin and not onto the sink. The basin themselves should be preferably placed on a rack or a board, not directly on a sink surface. The sink should be thoroughly washed between the meat and dairy used so that no meat residue remains while the dairy dishes are being washed, or reverse, of course. In addition, the drain should be kept free of any blockage so that the sink water should not gather in the sink and touch the dishes being washed. Okay, so let's try to understand. So this is stringent opinion, and so in this case you would need extra basins, but how practical? I think if in my mind this is doable. So if you put some kind of rack, as we said, so this basin would not touch the bottom of the sink, so it's not that bad. Okay, so one more time, this stringent opinion. In the opinion of some of the authorities, so it's actually, who is this? It's Minchas Itzchak. Dishes should never be put directly onto the sink. Okay, so that's clear. Dishes should be washed only in the metal or plastic basin inserted into the sink. So put it inside. So it's not like insert when some people use it in the pacer. That would be too much. I don't know who has a place to store it, but some like a basin like this in what do we call it? Dish pan, right? Dish pan or basins, it's one and the same. So where the wash only in metal or plastic basins inserted into the sink. So on the bottom of the sink you put this thing. So of course the water is going to overflow maybe, but it's not of our concern. One for meat and one dishes, one for dairy and one for parv. Right? So because why? Because you want to keep parv, right? So that's only obvious. Okay, continue. So I mean, so even parv like spoons, you're not going to put on the bottom of the sink, and don't put them in what is it, in the dairy pan or a meat pan. Okay. Okay. The tap water should pour directly into the basin. So as we said, not in a sink, into the basin. And in my mind, if it's overflow, there is no problem. Not into the sink. Okay. Into basin, not into the sink. The basin themselves should preferably be placed on a rack. So I think I saw that they sell this kind of racks. I mean, maybe it's a little smaller, not exactly fit in your what is it? Your sink, but it's still usable, right? Not on a rack. The basin themselves should preferably be placed on a rack. Okay, we said, or a board. Board is not practical because the water is going to collect around the board, and maybe it's going to clog the drain. Not a good idea, but rack is better, like metal rack. Right, and on a rack or on a board, not directly on a sink surface. So we got it. Commentaries say this is mentioned as additional precaution, but not as an imperative. Okay, no problem. So additional precaution meaning so you can put this dishpan on the bottom of the sink. I would say if you decided to go according to this route, just put do extra precaution, do everything on the best level possible. The sink should be thoroughly washed between the meat and dairy wash, right, every time. The dairy use, so that no meat residue remains while the dairy dishes are being washed. So meaning that now we're trying to preserve the sink as well, not to make it like Treif. Okay. In addition, the drain should be kept free of any blockage, so that the sink water should not gather in a sink and touch the dishes being washed. I'm not sure how touch the dishes they can go. There's so much that overflow to the basin, but we got the idea, right? So commentaries say, Minchas Yitzchak says that. Moreover, he advises that the sink be koshered between the meat and dairy uses by running the hot water over the surface of the sink. So here, Minchas Yitzchak saying, so even kosher. So usually when we kosher the sink, it's much hotter. The water is much hotter. But here he's going a more lenient way, and he said even with the water of this from the tap. Okay. I'm not sure why he did not mention that we can use detergent, but okay. So 28. Continue. So the next one is lenient opinion. Other authorities take a more lenient position. They argue that all the dishes should not come into contact with the sink bottom or sides while being washed. One need not use the basin. Merely place in a rack, one for meat and one for dairy, and one for paref, on a sink bottom to keep the dishes suspended above the water level, and sink bottom is sufficient. One should nevertheless prevent sink water from rising and touching the dishes. If the water does reach the dishes, it has no effect. Okay, so let's go according to this lenient opinion. So one more time, this lenient opinion. Other authorities take a more lenient position. So all of this stringency was because we were trying to prevent our dishes touching the walls or the bottom. Because why? Because for sure we used for opposite type. For sure that they absorb that opposite taste. That's was our stringency, right? But here lenient, according to this lenient opinion, so the only bottom is the problem, not the walls. That's the way I understand. So one more time, other authorities take a more lenient position. They argue that all the dishes should not come into contact with the sink bottom and the sides while being washed, one need not use a basin. So meaning if you put on like in the middle of the sink, if you put these racks, so they say according to there is no problem. Okay. So but you would need 3 different racks. So I never tell the truth. I never look into these racks and I just saw in the store whatever they say in the hardware store like regular one, like classic one. You put it on the bottom and it has legs maybe like I don't know 1 inch high, 1 inch, maybe even less than 1 inch. I mean less than 3/4 inch. I don't know, half inch, maybe half inch, legs, right? And coated with plastic in order not to scratch anything, and that's it. Maybe there are more sophisticated, more like better ones, but I'm not sure. Okay, so basically, if you get 3 of them, and you're not going to put anything on the bottom of the sink, according to this opinion, there is no problem. Many place in racks, one for meat, one for dairy, one for pareve, on the sink bottom to keep the dishes suspended above the water level. So we care about this nut bar nut from the walls of the sink into our dish, right, through the water. So that's what we care about, right? But if they're above, if they're suspended, so and water like flows freely and there is not the string is not too strong and there is good drainage, so basically you're good according to this opinion, right? So one more time on the sink bottom, to keep the dishes suspended above the water level, and sink bottom is sufficient. Okay, so no problem. So if you have these racks, no problem. One should nevertheless prevent sink water from rising and touching the dishes. That would be like too much. That's this rack is basically useless if you do that. But he said, if the water reaches the dishes, it has no effect. Why is that? Does not explain, but it says egress moisture. Okay, I'm not sure why is it no effect. Maybe because I'm just guessing. Maybe because it's cliche. So Klirishon is only that comes from it's our boiler. It's Klirishon. The stream is Irui Klirishon. So and when stream comes into the sink itself, so it's secondary vessel. So it should not be an issue. Okay. So we try not to have this issue, but after the fact, no problem. So let me know if any questions before we continue. As we see, the second approach is not so bad, basically. Okay. Any questions?
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
About this, the first method.
Mm-hmm.
So we wouldn't have any rack or anything, and we'd just have one sink, and we're washing the flatware with our hands, and we drop it accidentally. Considering the waters are flowing and the drain is not blocked or anything, we drop it on the bottom of the sink. What should we do?
Just pick up and wash with detergent. That's it. So it was not there for such a long time. Yeah, no problem. But the first opinion, the stricter one, he wants us to have a rack and basin. 2 things. Meaning to cover all of the bases, so for sure our dishes are not going to touch the walls and the bottom. So I mean, technically it's not such a big deal to have 3 basins. I mean, if you can stack one inside of the other while they're clean, should not be like big deal. And 3 racks also. I mean, they don't cost that much money. It's not, but it's not convenient. You have to remember, and it's like bothersome. But okay. That's what we do. Yeah, go ahead. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi. So we have two sinks, one for meat, one for dairy. So I assume we would still have to get a rack for the potted.
Why that? Oh, for the parif? For the parif again, there is no need for the parif. You just wash parif with the meat. That's it. So the only thing that so we're afraid is that mixture of meat and milk together. That's our problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. But again, there is a solution before that. So if somebody want to wash everything like holding in suspense, there is no problem. But what I said, I don't see how is it possible. Maybe again, if you pour the water like on a side, into this pot, wash this pot, pour the water and out, and it's when it's clean, technically clean, and you need just rinse out. Maybe it's not a big deal to hold it with one hand. You hold this pot, and with one hand you do the washing. Maybe it's not a big deal. Okay, what else? You're welcome.
And question of order section, question about the second method.
Mm-hmm.
If we put the rack there, does it render the rack Treif? Meaning when the bottom rack submerged in the water and not from the Treif sink. If so, how can we wash the rack?
I mean, rack, you just, I guess the only problem would be not 1 second, use what? So what he said that you would need to wash the sink between the washing. So basically it should not be any issues, I guess, with the rack. I mean, nobody eats from this rack, right? So it's only there in a sink. So I guess it just will wash with the soap. These legs should not be an issue. Okay. What else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Any other questions, or we continue? Tell me. Okay.
No, yeah, there's more questions, but are related to this topic.
Okay. So let's do maybe a few more. So it says 2 adjacent sinks. Okay. That's I mean the second best method, right? Of course, I mean first best method is to have it separate, but I mean that's what we have, right? 2 adjacent sinks. One who has a meat sink and dairy sink adjacent to each other must prevent water from splattering into the dishes of one type while washing the other type. The most effective method is to cover the sink not being used. Another method is to construct a separation between the 2 sinks. I mean, in my case, there is separation. So when we wash, we try to to push the faucet further from the border. Okay, so 4. So, but we got it. So if when you have 2 adjacent sinks, so of course you understand that splatters can go from one to another. That's obvious, especially when you have a strong stream of water. If you have not such a strong sink, it's not going to splash. So that's I think it would be safer. Okay. So continue. So and it's very interesting. So I mean, even though we have 2 sinks, but as I said, the dairy is very tiny. So sometimes you have a lot of dairy dishes, cups and spoons. So I will in order not to splash. So I would wash very low, closer to the bottom because there's no not such a big room, and and then one by one, basically you cannot pile up like in the meat sink. Yeah, it's much bigger, you can, but in dairy for us, because it's tiny, so you cannot pile up. You have to do like one piece at a time. Okay, no problem. So I mean, whatever you do, just be, what I'm trying to say, be mindful that of this issue. Next issue, next scenario: attached sinks. Some double sinks are constructed as one sheet of metal. There is a form in two sinks. Okay. Although in effect these constitute one large vessel, half meat and half dairy, it presents no kashrus problem. Okay, that's what we have. I mean, is it any like welding? I don't know. I think it's from one piece. Okay. The metal ridge connected to two sinks never heats up to the degree of Yatzel Desbo. Okay. Thus the taste, thus no taste can be transferred between the two sinks. Meaning that they're talking about this bridge between them. I mean, the water usually does not go there. Okay. So a common drain line. I mean, unless you have they in different places, of course it's common drain line. So common drain line meaning what? You have only one pipe coming from the wall, and if you have two sinks like these adjacent sinks, right? Of course you have a drain one, drain two, and then they connect in together like Y. Right, the letter Y in English. So that's how they connect together. There is no other way, right? The common drain line. So okay, adjacent sinks often share the common drain line, as I just explained. Right, drain line meaning coming from the wall, right? A common drain line with one drain trap. Okay. One drain trap, yeah. Drain trap, it's mean the thing on the bottom that collects all of the foods, right? The water goes through and the solids stay there. Okay. Although this is not ideal situation, since the drain water and food particles may rise from one sink to another, it presents. Since the drain water and the food particle may rise from one sink to another, it presents no serious kashrus problem. Water then rises from the drain is generally not Yatzel Desbo and cannot affect the kashrus of the sink and dishes. I mean, it's in a case. I mean, the way I understand what he's talking about, that the drain overflows. And as I said, it is wide, so it technically can go up from one to another, unless if you pour quickly a lot, right? You have a big pot full of water or something, and you pour very very quickly. So for sure, like I saw a few times, the water come very close to the top of the adjacent drain, but it never came out. But as he said, it's possible. But again, even though if it's going to happen, usually it's below Yatzel Desbo, so there is no problem. Okay, so that's what he's trying to say. Nevertheless, the drain trap should always be kept clean. I don't know how to keep it clean. And avoid the problem entirely, meaning that the mixture meat and milk come up. Okay. If the water does rise from one sink into another, the dishes and the sink should be rinsed in a cold or warm water, but not hot. Right? Hot, as we said, is a problem. So I guess practically what he's saying, if you have your drain clean and it's flows through, there is no problem. So the only problem could be when it's the drains are backed up and then it goes up. That's and it comes up in wrong hole. Okay. Actually, in any hole doesn't matter because it is a mixture because from the trap, but to come from the trap it has to be like a lot. Okay, so continue. Number 6. Dishes or cutlery that fall into a sink. Okay, here's our question. If a dish or spoon or fork fall into the sink while the hot water is running, if it was not directly under the water, it is unaffected. However, if utensil was directly under the water, a rav should be consulted. Okay. So if it's fell and you picked it up, right? If it's under the water and water was very hot, again, I just wanted to remind you, hot is yad saladas bo. So in many cases, maybe it's not that hot. Okay. So we can stop here, I think. Next time, we're going to start with a summary. Okay, go ahead. We almost finished the book, but we're not going to finish today because it's too much commentary. So. Book 3 and book 4 is food prepared by non-Jew. Separate section. Okay, go ahead. What else? What questions?
So I have some questions about kashrus in general. The first one says, for the Rav, is one allowed to cook a dairy food in a meat pot? Would you be allowed to use a meat spoon in a dairy pot? Is it the same if it's vice versa? Meat spoon in a dairy pot, etc. Assuming it was cleaned.
I mean, there was 5 different questions, so let's start from the beginning, please. We're going to split.
So the first one would be: Are you allowed to cook a dairy food in a meat pot?
No, we're not allowed to do that. The problem is it depends on the pot. In some cases, there are different scenarios, and in some cases, you would not be allowed to eat whatever you cooked, and you would need and you're not allowed to get any benefit, meaning you have to throw out, and plus kosher the pot. That's how bad it could be. Yeah.
So, to your next question. Would one be allowed to use a meat spoon in a dairy pot?
No, it's same. It's forbidden. That doesn't matter. Spoon. No, unless it is a little. Let's say if it's 100% clean, and it's more than yad saladas bo, and you mix something with that spoon. So that's it. This spoon became meat spoon. It's no longer dairy spoon. So that's the thing.
So the third part goes: is it the same if it's vice versa?
Yeah. All of these examples that we get, it's meat and dairy and meat. It's exactly the same thing. And I'm not sure if there are exceptions. But in the plus, in many cases, it's also the same outcome is going to be with the non-kosher utensils.
So our friend added, assuming it was cleaned.
What was the question about this? Okay.
Will you be allowed to use a meat spoon in a dairy pot?
That's what we said. So it would depend if it was yad saladas, if it was benyam or not. So if it was used on that day, so according to Ashkenazi tradition, you would need to kosher spoon and this in the pot. So if it's beyond Yatzla as well, so nothing is affected. So they were clean more than 24 hours. Basically, that's the thing. Okay.
Your friend says everything is cleaners.
Yeah. That's I mean, everything is clean, but there are two scenarios, right? Actually, no, I apologize. More than two scenarios. So one straightforward, like both of them. Yatzela, they not ben yamo, meaning they were not used for the past 24 hours. So after the fact, there is no problem. You don't need to kosher. If they ben yamo, meaning they were used in the past 24 hours, right? Even though they clean, right? So you would have to kosher. Spoon and the pot. So there are different shades of clean. Let's put it this way. Okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question goes on. If we have a meat and dairy set of pots and pans for food, should we have a third set for potted as well? If we cook a potted food in a meat or a dairy container, if it's not the var harif, does it remain potted?
Could you read the second part? I got the first one, but second part about the var harif.
Also, if we cook a potted food in a meat or dairy container, if it's not the var harif, does it remain potted?
Okay, so let me. It's not such a simple question. So for answering the first question, absolutely, we must have a separate set for potted foods. So why is that? So in order that you're able to use these foods for according to your likings with a dairy or with a meat. For example, if you cook spaghetti, so if you cook spaghetti in a pot, right? You can use it with cheese and you can use it with meat, chicken, right? So why? Because it is parif. So, but of course, you're going to eat it from the parif, from the meat plate, for example. That's understandable. But since it is parif, you can use with both of them, with any of them, either of them. Right, so that's the need for sure for a parif. And plus, when you spaghetti is one example, but even vegetables, right? You cut vegetables and this hot the sharp vegetables also like these onions. You make a salad, so you want to be able to eat salad with your meat meal, and you want to add like cheese to salad, like feta cheese or something to salad. You understand? So that's why you need to keep parif. If you're going to eat this salad, for example, only with meat, there is no problem. You can make it in meat utensils. But proper to have parif. Although they like what is it? All of the vegetables that you cook without meat, they should be parif. Like all of the pasta, like spaghetti, all of this other things, grains, like you do cereals, like hot cereals. So of course, you want to have it parif. Okay. And the second question, the second part, I apologize. What was it about?
Yeah, the second question, second part was the bar harif thing.
Oh, dvar harif is only when you cut, right? So when you cut with a knife. So if they are only there is no problem because there is no pressure applied. So that's why it's absolutely like it's proper not to put yourself in that situation. If Dvar Harif, those, I mean, except as we said, like some herring or something, like they all parif. Even the fish is all these sharp fish or sharp herring. It's also they're parif. So if you cut with a parif knife or with salad, or you cut onions, this what is it, garlic, whatever you cut. So the radishes, that's perfect. So you can use it with either one. There is no problem. Okay, what else? Was another part into this question, or that's it?
Yeah, there's second part. I mean, it would be like a third part of the question.
Third part, okay.
It says, what if you cook onions in a potted pot, and they go from raw to caramelized? Does it take the characteristic of the pot, like meat or dairy,
Yes.
since they were cooked since raw, or not because it was turned sweet?
I mean, in order to take a characteristic of the pot, we need to understand when the pot was used. So if it's ben yam or not ben yam. So if it was used, for example, today, and you wash it, and you cook your onions. So the problem is not with the onions. The problem is the taste from the pot is going to come into onion. So this onion is no longer part or onion, or for that sake, anything like your spaghetti. It's not going to be part, but it's going to be meat. Right? And that's a difference in Ashkenazic and Sephardic opinion. So according to Ashkenazic opinion, they would not eat, but according to after the fact, okay, but according to Sephardic tradition, they would eat. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, thank you very much for the Shiur question. Should we have 3 separate garbage cans also? Thank you, Rabbi.
No, that's not a problem. No, garbage can is not a problem. One is enough. Because our dishes do not touch that, so that's the thing.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, are you allowed to use spray deodorant on Shabbos?
I would say that depends for what. The spray deodorant, I guess for the body. Let's say, right, for the body you would be allowed to use it, but make sure not spraying on on a clothing. So that's very important, because it is forbidden to put deodorant or like perfume or whatever on a clothing, but on a body there is no problem. And as well, I'm not sure why this question was asked. So I'm going to add that it is allowed to spray this air freshener, right, in a bathroom, air freshener. There is no problem.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Question from Kabbalah. Is one allowed to use trash drawer on Shabbos?
I didn't get trash. What?
Drawer.
To open and close like that?
Yep.
Why would it be the problem? If person clarify, please, why would you think it should be a problem?
Our friend says moving muktzeh.
Oh, that's an amazing question. Oh yeah. That's very good question. So that's very good question. So what we have to make sure, that's an amazing question. So we have to make sure that before Shabbos we have some things that is not muktzeh. right? So what is not muktzeh? I don't know, like a napkin or something, right? Or something if there is only muktzeh. So if it's the muktzeh status starts from ben hashemashos, from what is it, from sundown until the night. So if you have a fresh garbage bag, let's say have a fresh garbage bag, there is no problem whatsoever, right? So because there is no muktzeh, right? It is not muktzeh. If you had the garbage from before, right, so most likely you had in this garbage can, right, and garbage bag, something that's muktzeh and non-muktzeh. So if you have muktzeh and non-muktzeh, we go that it's not muktzeh. So you, of course, you were intended to move it, right? The only problem could be if it was absolutely clean, right, empty bag, and and everything is there, is complete muktzeh. What is complete muktzeh? I don't have a good example right now. So basically all of the food remains is not muktzeh, unless it's bones, and not chicken bones, like meat bones, but it's very rare. That's the only thing that you're going to put there on a sunset, like from sunset until, that's the only like thing was there on set on Shabbos. It's possible, but don't put yourself in that situation. And also, like, so just so we know, this disposable the dishes, flatware, are also not considered to be muktzeh. Just so we know, we use it once and throw out, for example, right? But they're not considered to be muktzeh because technically, you can take them out if you want, and you can wash them and use it again, especially plastic ones. If you buy this disposable, sometimes they send advertisement. One Jewish guy said this, send like every day, and I just look at the picture, such a good quality, especially before Pesach, people buying that for the holidays, before Sukkot, like the whole set. Such a plastic, such a good quality is a shame to throw out. Like it's such a good quality, right? So meaning all of these are not muktzeh. Okay, what else?
Hey, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next question. Okay, so our friend made two questions, but one of them is directly related to this issue of the garbage can. So it says, are we allowed to add muktzeh items to the garbage can on Shabbos? For example, like peeling an egg into a garbage can to a trash drawer. A garbage can that is in a trash drawer.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good question. As we said, so muktzeh status. So okay, forget it, muktzeh. Before muktzeh, let me explain what the real question is. The real question is, it's not about muktzeh. It's about this door. This what is it? This thing that you pull out is being bosses. So bosses, it's like a base, right? It's a base for the muktzeh. So some things can be base and they cannot be base. For example, if you have a little table, like a coffee table, like smaller end table, they call it, whatever they call it, right? Small table, and you put there on that table only muktzeh. So it became bosses for a muktzeh until the end of Shabbos. You put your laptop in there. You put your laptop, your phone, your car key, whatever on this thing. That's it. It's a completely muktzeh. So table by itself is nothing, right? I mean, it's not muktzeh, but it became bosses. It became base for the muktzeh. So same is here. So these tracks and this drawer, right? They're bosses. They're like a base for something. So based on what was put before Shabbos, right? So if it was, as we said, a mixture, of the good and bad, like what is it, muktzeh and non-muktzeh. So basically, if you have like a tissue, right, and you wipe your face and you throw it to the garbage, it's not muktzeh. Technically, in some countries, they would use 7 times this. You understand? So it's not muktzeh, it's usable. In case, for example, that's the only napkin you have, you ate your ice cream and you wiped your face, and now you have a spillage in your house, so you can take this napkin from the garbage and take care of the spillage. So it's not muktzeh, right? So we go by the in this boss's case. We say if there is a muktzeh and not muktzeh, so we say that the whole thing is not muktzeh. It's not bosses. So technically you can move it. And again, if you start throwing things there on Shabbos, it's irrelevant because the status was determined before the Shabbos started. I hope I did not confuse. If I can confuse anybody, so please tell me. I'm going to clarify.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question called off. Is one allowed to fold or unfold their fold-up couch or futon on Shabbos?
Yeah, that's not a problem. So the melacha might be building, right, or destroying. I mean, that's what it seems like. So it was like flat, and then I did like folded, and it's like I build up, right? I mean, technically, that's what it looks like. But I would just say that's because it was made for this way to be used. It's a normal way of use it, so it's not considered to be building, right? So another case, if you have these folding chairs. Same folding tables. Somebody like a little tiny apartments, or like you have extra people coming, so you have this folding chair somewhere on a side. So you open up. That's it. Yeah, there is no problem. And same applies to all of the unfolded things that people usually fold. For example, baby carriage. Right? People also you usually fold it. No problem.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, how are we supposed to put away a pile of multiple books on Shabbos?
Pile of multiple books. I mean, if it's already pile, so you can carry and you can put in the right place. So and if you're doing it in order for the books not to be like soiled or something, if they were on a table. So but if it's not on a pile, not in a pile, yeah, so better not to put them in a pile. But even to put them in a pile, you have to be very knowledgeable what book you can put on top of the other book, right? For example, Chumash, when we have all 5 books, you can put on any book, and one Chumash on top of the other. But in many Chumashim, like if you have like extensive commentary, so you would have only one book. Like for example, Shmos, you would have only one book. So this one book you cannot put on 5. So but 5 you can put on 1, and then the one, even if you have 1, you can put on what is it, on writings, right? Like Tehillim, right, or prophets like Yirmiyahu. Okay, so the writings, prophets, I think they are considered to be on the same level, and those you can put on lower, so on a Talmud, right? The Talmud you can put on Shulchan Aruch, and later Paskim you cannot put on Shulchan Aruch on top because it's like lower holiness, lower. Okay.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So our friend clarified about this issue of the pile of books with the prohibition of borer.
No,
Friend asked how can we prevent borer with books? Should we not stack books or keep them in one place or keep them separated?
No, not the one. I mean, usually people don't learn on Shabbos like 5 books. Usually, I think. So it's usually one or 2 books. So they're not considered to be mixture. Understand? Okay. What else?
Rabbi. The next question. Thank you for your question. Are bicycles allowed in Shabbos?
Bicycles are not allowed in Shabbos. It's of course it's a rabbinic decree, and same applies to what is it to musical instruments. So why you're not allowed to play musical instruments? Shabbos same exactly reason for bicycle. What about bicycle? Exactly, musical instruments, because some they say about bicycle. Let's say sometimes the chain can fall off, right? And you would need to take tools and fix it. So and it's going to be making bepatish, fixing something, right? And we don't do fixing on Shabbos, right? And that's why sages say no. So in the, just going by this logic, like tricycle for kids, right? They have 3 wheels and you have pedals on the first one, so there is no chain, right? I mean, very simple bicycle. It's not bicycle, it's tricycle. Sorry, it's the tricycle. So in this case, it would be no problem. So if kid wants to ride this, of course he's not going to go like beyond the area, but around his house or the front yard, there is no problem, because there is nothing there to fix. There is nothing there to to break, basically. Okay. But in some lenient people, they allow, because I mean, in my mind, I think that's my theory. They allow after the fact, when communities simply did not ask, they start using, and that's it. I think in some communities, few communities, I heard that they actually use the bicycle, even though it's according to our paskim, it is forbidden.
Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So our friend's also asking about scooters.
Scooters again, yes. Scooters, of course, there's nothing there to break. Like I mean, of course they break, but it's not like a chain or something. So it's not like a respect of Shabbos. I mean, you're going to have like, for example, men with all your suits with the tie talis, you're going to ride the scooter to the shul. I mean, we're talking about Shabbos, just on the same page. We're not talking about regular days. On regular days, you can ride a bicycle, you can ride a scooter. There is no problem. But on Shabbos, it's not covered Shabbos. Okay. And plus, another thing, it could be like carrying. That's another thing. If there is no eruv, it could be that you're carrying it. Also a problem. You're welcome.
So next question. Please, I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused. If we have in a drawer, let's say silverware and the flashlight, and the drawer turns into muktzeh. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Oh, we had there what, like flatware and a flashlight?
Silverware and a flashlight in a drawer. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no problem whatsoever. I mean, it's a good question. So if you have something there usable for Shabbos, so this thing is no longer considered to be muktzeh. Again, it's not muktzeh; it's bosses. They We care about this drawer to be open. That's what we care about, right? So that's two separate things. This silverware is never muktzeh. Like, even if you need it so much, or for example, even on Shabbos, if you have Pesach, right? So especially kosher for Pesach silver, no problem. So maybe you need extra, and you can use it for Shabbos. There is no prohibition. Right. Of course, if you want to return it to Pesach, you would need to kosher it, but it's still not muktzeh. Right. So I give you this example. Maybe it's a good example to remember. So some people, they light candles, Shabbos candles, on a separate table because they don't put on the main table because somebody can knock them, like kids. Like you run into the table, and that's it. Not only kids. I mean, adults sometimes even worse than kids. Right, so of course it's dangerous, even though it's preferable. Okay, so but since we have a electric light, so there is no like such as strong need. So some people would have it on the side, on some countertop, whatever. Like that's second best, and the third best to have it like on a side, so like nobody walks by, but of course it's in the same room, so on this table, like coffee table, whatever table, this big, whatever. Right here we have these candles. So while the candles are burning, so the flame is the muktzeh, of course, and makes the candlestick is the muktzeh, and candlesticks make the candelabra also the muktzeh. Okay, so everything is muktzeh. There is no problem. The question is about the bosses, the table itself. Right? For example, if you need room, so after the candles stop burning, I mean, maybe you want to use that room and you want to move this candelabra to separate place, to some corner, right? So if you put something there of importance, something that you would need for Shabbos, for example, you put their challah, you put their cedar, you put their, I don't know, whatever you want, like something like that that's significant value for you to use on Shabbos. So that's it. The whole bosses, even you have this candelabra, I don't know, of silver, I don't know, $5,000. I'm just making up numbers, right? Very expensive, and you have your siddur like $5, like a small one, right? $5. So that's not a problem. So this, because for you this siddur is of a great importance. So the whole table did not become bosses for a muktzeh, and after they burn out, you can take, of course, careful not to so nothing's going to fall, and you can bring it to wherever you want. So that's the thing. So if there is something of importance for you in need for Shabbos, so that the whole thing is not muktzeh. Bosses, again, bosses. Muktzeh is muktzeh. The candles are muktzeh, right? And candlesticks are also muktzeh, but we're talking about the table, right? And we're talking about the drawer. So you have a flashlight and you have silverware. Silverware is never muktzeh. Flashlight is always muktzeh, right? So, but you care about if you can open the drawer. Okay. Okay.
So, next question. Shalom Kudra, is it modest for women to ice skating?
Me personally, I think no. Have I ever seen that? No, like because they do all of these different poses. It's like almost like dancing. So if it's like modestly or like almost like walking and circling, there is no problem. But otherwise, like it would be not very modest, if especially if she's like she's very good in skating. So just, I mean, I also skate a little, but I will try like to stay on my feet like around the circle. That's it. But if women start like dancing, and that's what they do, so like that's not appropriate.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, says absolutely amazing explanation. Thank you very much for the.
You're welcome.
So, I have this question about anger. So in this book, it kind of brings up this excerpt from the Zohar, Parashat Sariyah, where it says that someone that throws like an object in anger, when he's angry, he throws it. Then this on this object, like there's no blessing resting upon this object anymore, since because of the anger involved in the throwing, this object is now considered as if it was property of the Satan. So I was wondering, is there any way to revert this? Like, if someone threw away something that is very useful and expensive, such as a bone, so there's no way back?
I mean, it's like spiritually, yes, it's like something that was used for Avodah Zarah, but in the same sense, if a person can nullify something, that it says it's no longer Avodah Zarah, right? So at least Jew can. Can non-Jew do that? I think a non-Jew also can do it, but they can nullify the status. You understand? So yeah, so you can say apologize, do teshuvah, and say I'm no longer going to throw the things. Okay, or at least that thing. So that's how you nullify the status. It's I think that the best example would be if somebody like brought you something like your jeweler, and they brought you something like made of what is it, gold, but it's like what used for Avodah Zarah. So you're allowed to melt it. You're allowed to melt it, right? So, and but if they renounce it, if they sell it to you as an object, right? That's what the problem. Object meaning as a like item, like article, like something. If they sell you as just by weight, right? So for them it's garbage, and then, no, I stop with that. I don't worship this Yoshka guy. That's it. So yeah, you can use. You can use do earrings, do rings, whatever you wanna do. Okay, right? But otherwise, even people who idol worshippers, and they want to sell the cross, for example, with Yoshka there, so they would sell the cross, but they sell like for other people to use, right? So I no longer need it, or I need the money more, for example, right? But they did not cancel the status of this item as a idol, right? Or like some things they call it appurtenances, some like something that help in idol worshiping, right? But if they say it's garbage, right? Okay, so if they nullify, no problem. So the same with us, we can nullify things. You're welcome.
Next question. Torah. Since flipping a light switch, aside from creating a full circuit, also counts as starting a fire, why can't we use an artificial light for the Shabbos candle, like a flashlight or one of those fake candle lights?
Flashlights, I'm not sure why a person say we cannot. So it's actually, that's what they say we should use. In what situation? I'm going to tell you. When somebody, for example, somebody is in the hospital, of course, in the hospital with all the oxygen tanks, they're not going to allow us to use candles, real candles. right? And if you like turn on like the light, like let's say like light above you, right? So you turn on, turn off. Also, like it does not show. Of course, if it's the only thing available to you, yeah, do it. But otherwise, the best would be the flashlight. So why the flashlight? Because flashlight tells us that it's something different. Like I turn this flashlight only in honor of Shabbos, right? Or some like temple light, the temple lamp that we usually don't use. So if you turn on something that you use, it's not obvious. But the flashlight, for sure, it is obvious. Right. So of course the flashlight is going to be muktzeh, and it's like a level, like on a level of your candles, but it's very, very usable. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome. So before I continue, I want to answer the question from yesterday. So HaShem Yisbarach saved me, because I usually, as I said before, I apologize again. In most cases, I have no time, no strength to look up questions. So whatever I know, I answer. Whatever I don't know, I just say I don't know. But many things I remember, and then I bring up whatever when I say don't know. So, but this was yesterday, and HaShem saved me. So it was about the murderer. I don't remember exactly how the question went, but we said this murderer who is in the throes of death or something. And I explained to you this term gosses. That person is about to die, and we also explained the term treifa. Right? Treifa meaning the person is that has like internal illnesses that he's not going to live out the year, right? So it says actually, so it's from Sefer Chachinuch, it's Mitzvah number 34, the prohibition of murder, and it says actually that if somebody kills somebody, like even on the death throes, right? I mean, if a person was ill and this and that, and he would die soon, doesn't matter. So you cannot, if a person did it intentionally, he's going to get a death penalty, right? And the example that they use in the Talmud is actually somebody who close somebody eyes, like whatever. So because why it might have brought the early death, half a second, 1 minute, I don't know, whatever. But this person, if it was intentional, and of course he was warned, he would be charged as a murderer. Just 1 second, let me see if I missed something. No. 1 second. So let me quickly read half a commentary. So it says Chinuch specified that the victim in this throes of death due to his illness, right? Because in this case the death penalty applies, right? So if a person was sick, right, and is about to die, or old, is about that doesn't matter. So and another person kills him, so he's a murderer. But he's an exception to the case, and that's what I did not remember yesterday. And it says if the victim is on the verge of death due to the injury inflicted by another man, it is forbidden, just as the same to accelerate his demise. But in that case, the one who does so would not incur the death penalty. Very interesting, right? And we're going to explain. Since the victim's death has been set in motion by the person who inflicted the mortal wound. So, right, so he was very close, he was lying on the deathbed because of the wound from somebody, from previous wound, and somebody like kills that person, whatever he did. So he's not going to get the death penalty. Of course, it is forbidden, but he's not a killer. So the killer is the one who actually wounded him. Okay, that's one difference. So yeah, okay, that's what I want to say. So I found it today. Okay.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
So this is in the case the person was wounded by someone else previously. Does it still apply to some, I don't know, sickness that's gonna kill him eventually, or?
No. I mean, if the sickness is, for example, some kind of sickness, meaning some kind of like infection. So, but this infection, it was like an outcome of the original wound. So this guy is guilty, 100%. I mean, guilty. I mean, I apologize. This the one who wounded him is guilty. If somebody else like kill him, so he's not going to, like, of course it is not allowed, but he's not going to get the death penalty by the earthly court, by the heavenly court most likely, but not by this court. Okay, but if he was just sick from like a natural sickness, right? Nobody did it to him. So then it's if even as sages say, it's 175 years old, right? The man, he's not there, or he's in coma, and person comes to close his eyes, he's guilty. So that's why when somebody's ghost is he's going to die in the next 3 days or so. So we try not to. Some say in the next 30 days, but I think most of the opinions say 3 days. But I heard also 30 days. So let's go. Let's do 3 days. So because 3 days is very obvious that the person is going to die. So it's not allowed to touch him. Not allowed to move him. Because why? Because is it not being nice? No. Because it's so of course, if you're doing for the betterment of that person, you need to put it on the one side, on another side, put it, stick some needle into it. That's one thing. But if something extra, like take his temperature, if it's just needed for the charts, not allowed, because you might kill him with that. Okay. What else?
Yeah, right. So, kind of bringing back the question from yesterday, that was the case of die but not sin.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, if someone is told to go kill someone, otherwise he would be killed if he doesn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be allowed to go kill this person if he knows that someone else wounded him to death before.
No. It's you see, it's what we said about that case. It's not allowed, but he's not going to get the death penalty. So it's a different punishment, but still not allowed. So believe it or not, that was actually our topic today, right? Wait a second. I'm learning to read this book in 2 different classes. See how smart I am. So that's I do so much review. So that's how for me it's the only way to remember. So laws of penalty payments, right? That's what we did. Laws of the penalty payments, and part of it was actually. So you're not allowed to kill. So you're not. So it says, who said that your blood is redder? Right. So, apologize. It was not there. It's I apologize. It's a mitzvah prohibition of murder. Right. So it's not. It's prohibition of murder. So prohibition of murder. So it says So you're not allowed. To kill somebody, sacrificing one's life to save another. So you're not allowed. So basically, on one hand, it says that our mitzvah were given to us to live by them. So meaning to live by them, not to die by them. So if it's different, like mitzvah, they say eat pig, or we're going to kill you, so eat pig. Okay. Maybe don't enjoy it too much, but you're allowed to eat to save your life, right? But in the case of another person, so they say, well, what are you going to gain? Like one life is going to be lost anyway. They say kill him or we kill you. So we're going to lose one life anyway, right? So and the Talmud says, who told you that your life is rather than his, right? Who told you that you're allowed to kill him? So you're not allowed to kill him, right? So and in this case, when you don't know what to do, so there is a one rule, and right, very important rule. If you don't know what to do and it's not obvious, don't do anything. So let the nature run its course, right? And in this case, they say we're going to kill. Okay, so you remain inactive, and you allow yourself to be killed. One exception, it's very interesting. Would not remember. Tosafos. So Tosafos says there is one exception. So they said we're going to throw you, like for let's say from the second story building, on top of somebody else, and basically you're going to crush him. But person is not going to do anything. He'll be crushed by the weight of his body. So in this case, he might be allowed to do that. Why? Because he remains inactive. So it's not actively he goes and kills somebody. No, he remains inactive, and he's being pushed and falls on that person. So according to Tosafos, it's not considered to be killing, right? But so the question is, if you're obligated to fight, not to be thrown like on that person. So that's the thing. Okay, so I guess in that case we can go leniently, but otherwise, yeah, we allow ourselves to be killed, but don't kill. Okay, so allow meaning you remain inactive because it's you don't know what to do, and the same is with many like cases, and people ask me like in different like difficult situation. And they ask me what to do. And situation, I mean, like I see, I don't know what to do. I'm not a prophet. I don't know what to do. So I always suggest them don't do anything and see what HaShem decide to do. Like give him some time. He's going like situation is going to play out somehow, or in work or something like. Give it time. Don't do anything and let HaShem do what he done. What he's doing best. He's doing the best in running the world. So just let him do his part. That's it. Okay, that's what we found today. Okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so since we've been alive. Okay, Shalom Kabbalah, please correct my understanding regarding muktzeh and the base. The base status is only determined on the onset of Shabbos. For example, if there was only Shabbos candle on a coffee table at the onset of Shabbat, the status, the table would not change even if we put a cedar on it later.
Mm-hmm. No, correct. Yes. So if after the nightfall you put cedar, that's it. I mean the status is set, and status is and you cannot change this status until the end of the Shabbos. So for example, what would be the example? So you had this I don't know, something like. Had your laptop, for example, on this coffee table, let's say, and then you have somebody in that. I don't know, what would be the case? So, for example, you have a non-Jewish babysitter, and she said, I'd like you to borrow your laptop. Let's say it's a shared one. I don't. I'm just making up, right? And she would take it. Okay, she can use it if she wants to, but this table would still be muktzeh for us, bosses, right? Even though it's empty, just because they take out the muktzeh, original muktzeh item, the status did not change. Right? So again, the status is not going by the item, but by the status like of onset on Shabbos of the most important item for you. So even though of course these candles very important, but since you were intended when you put siddur, when you put the hilim on this table, like keep whatever, like talis, whatever you put there, it's with intention not to be muktzeh because you wanna let one move. It's not muktzeh.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, regarding nullify Avodah Zarah object.
Mm-hmm.
If person A did not nullify its Avodah Zarah status
Mm-hmm.
and gave it as a gift or sell it to person B, can person B nullify its status?
No. only the original person. That's the problem. So the logic is very simple, right? So especially for jewelers, right? So sometimes they have this sign buy gold. Okay, but they buy gold as scrap metal, right? And they melt it and do whatever they want. So that doesn't matter. It's whatever you bring them rings or earrings or bracelet, ankle bracelet. As we said, it's irrelevant. Tooth crown, right? I mean, they're going to melt it anyway, right? But if you bring them some piece of art, so of course they prefer to sell it, right? They might get 10 times more, 20 times more than if they buy as a scrap metal. Right, but many times these non-Jews they would not, like, even they would sell the cross, so they would not sell it to a Jew, like if the Jew is going to melt it, right? Of course, for them it's a big desecration, right? So if he wants to nullify something, like, I don't know, something that was used in the church, let's say. And he said, no, it's all garbage. It's not. It's this idol worship and this and that. So yeah, in this case we allowed to use, but we're very careful. So if person is not sure if he would prefer maybe to make some more money, sell it as the article itself and not to melt this let's say golden piece. So don't do it, right? Because the temptation is very big, as we understand. Why should I lose money?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Okay. So we had this issue, actually big issue, in one neighborhoods not where I live, but not too far from us. So it used to be a very Jewish neighborhood, especially after the war. Many people came in, even before the war, like very, very Jewish neighborhood. A lot of shuls, a lot even yeshivas. I'm not sure how many yeshivas, but shuls, so for sure. And then some other people start moving into neighborhood, and Jews start running. I'm not sure why running, but they start running, just dump the houses, and in many cases they're beautiful shuls, and they cannot be maintained, like money wise, because there's not enough money to pay the maintenance, and then people wise there were not enough people. So the question was raised, sometimes who would buy these buildings, like who churches want to buy these buildings, right? Of course. So if you would allow to sell this building to a church, right, it's very interesting. I mean, for sure you know that they're going to use it for Avodah Zarah. It's not maybe, right? Of course, that's even though they would sell through the brokers and try to they understood that Jews did not want it. But on another hand, like who else is going to buy your building? Like for what? For library? I mean, like how they would be used. So that was a very, very, very touchy subject. Of course, Reb Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, he went on a case by case basis. It's not so simple, right? So in some cases he would allow, because this church is going to buy a building anyway. It's not they're going to start the Avodah Zarah one way or another. So it's not like you're stuck in this. So I did not sell my my synagogue, and that's it. They're not going to move into neighborhood. No. They're going to buy 2 other buildings and raise them and build even a higher church. I mean, so it's not like you're a big stopper. So in certain cases he would allow, because like people were not able simply to pay him even some taxes, whatever, like maintenance, and there were no people. Unfortunately, yes. So, okay, what else?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question, is liver problems or cancer considered also spiritually impure?
I mean, liver problem. So liver is actually the filter, right, of the blood. Is it spiritually impure? I mean, like spiritual that it's transferable? No, it's not transferable. So somebody just recently asked the question, and I just want to clarify about this impurity. So there are 2 different types of impurity, and I think that many people have this confusion. So there is like the highest level of impurity on our hands when we wake up. Right, so we say the ruach ra, like spirit of, like bad spirit. So you have to wash 3 times. But after we use in the bathroom, it's not the same. It's not. Of course, your hands are impure, so technically it's allowed to pour once. Of course, it's preferable 3 times with the vessel. But if you don't have a vessel, so we said open this faucet 3 times. Okay, but after the fact, the minimum of the minimum, if you wash 1 time, that's enough. And if you did not wash at all, period, you did not wipe them, period. So if you touch the food, for example, so you don't need to, and it was moist, let's say, this food, so you're not obligated to wash it down, because it's not such a big impurity, right? Even you went to a restaurant. Okay, I'm just saying after the fact. Of course, it's not proper what to do it, but after the fact, you don't need to wash the food, and you can eat the food, no problem. Right. So this is a physical impurity that we say, like spiritual impurity, this kidney disease and right, and cancer. Was the question or not?
It's liver disease and cancer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. They like halachically, those are not impurities. They have nothing to do with impurity, right? So same as this from the bathroom. So impurity comes from something dead usually. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question. In the case one of the spouses being in their deathbed, is the other one not allowed to give him or her a last kiss or take their hand before the death time? Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Okay, that's a very good question. So if that's what they want, there is no problem for whatsoever. It's opposite issue. You're not allowed to say no to them. Understand? Because like every little bit can upset them, and they can bring their demise faster. So yeah. So when we were talking about maybe the person is unconscious, he's like in a semi-sleep state, right? So in this case, we try and like to move them as less as possible. But in this case, kiss, yes, absolutely. That's
Thank you, Rabbi.
you're welcome.
Next question, Rabbi. Is there any issue with driving Uber, as some of the passengers will surely be evil people, and they could bring bad things spiritually into the person's personal car?
It's a good question. I mean, like on the surface of it, like halachically, there is no problem. Okay, maybe. I mean, because how do I know the evil people are going to come into like Uber, into your car? Maybe yes, maybe no. But most of the people, they're not that evil. Maybe they're not such a good people, and they could be better, but not so much evil. So based on this ratio that most of the people are normal, so that's so you're allowed to drive Uber. They're going to bring this bad aura into your car. They I think they can, but if you sit there, read Tehillim, I guess, like to Hanukkah Sabayis, what was it, number 30? We say it in the morning after we finish Karbonos, like the morning sacrifices. So we say Hanukkah Sabayis LaDavid, right? How about sanctification of the temple, and that's exactly what the psalm we say when somebody has Hanukkah Sabayis, right? Meaning when somebody moves in a new apartment, new house, something like that. There's a special party like to sanctify the place. So you can say this psalm, I guess. Right.
Take care, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Next question for off. If someone makes a mistake in their cookware, and they are in the process of conversion, and they are unable to kosher the pot, are they still allowed to use it after conversion since it's considered a mistake?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But before, like, when they convert, they will not be allowed to use it. But up to that time, there is no problem.
Take care, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Okay, so our friend still typing a question, but besides that, I believe that was the last question on the board.
So let me do a quick story then. What I've done, so I introduced it yesterday a little. So the first part, did I tell you? Okay, so let's read. Okay, so it's bracha over the dead animal. So it's according to it's going Parsha Beshalach. Israel saw Egyptian dead on the seashore, right? So it says that the challenge. A Yeshiva student visited a zoo where he saw elephant that first time in his life, right? Even an elephant lay sleeping on the side. The Yeshiva student was amazed by its size, and he recited the bracha, Meshaneh Chabrias, right? Bless you, HaShem, who makes creature difference, as dictated by Halachah, right? Okay, so let's see the Shulchan Aruch. So basically, it's on our siddur. We say this blessing on on elephants and monkeys. Right? It's after the Tower of Babel, after dispersion. So HaShem like make some people into these elephants and elephants and monkey, and like monkey we understand, but elephant is strange. But today we're going to find out why elephant out of all of the animals. What is the connection between a person and elephant? And we'll see it's clear connection. So commentary says Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim 2258 states, upon seeing an elephant or a monkey, one recites, "Bless you, HaShem, who makes creature different." Right? The Meiri Brachas 58b, so it's Talmud, explains the bracha is recited specifically over elephant and monkey, since they are somewhat similar to the mankind. The elephant is similar to the mankind. Listen to this. And therefore, the distinction from the mankind makes it more interesting. Right? So, of course, I mean, with the snake, we have nothing to do, but with the elephant and the monkey, the most close to us. Why is that? The Rashbat's Magen Avos, chapter 3, explains the similarity between elephants and men is not in appearance, of course, but in intellect. He notes that there is no other animal so able to understand human speech and obey instruction as an elephant. See Meleches Shlomo, Kilaim 486. So that's the answer. So that's why from a long time ago in all of these countries that have elephants, they can train them, and they can do many, like elephants are very like trainable animals. Why? Because they understand that language the best compared to all others. Like all others animals, they go just by the sound. Like they look at you, like and hear like for example, dog. You train the dog, the dog is going to look at you and try to understand like by the sounds. But elephants understand the speech, which is huge difference. Okay. So after he completed the bracha, a work crew arrived and with a crane and removed the sleeping animal and replaced with a different one. Can you imagine? Why are you exchanging the elephants? Asked the yeshiva students. Can't you tell the elephant died and we're replacing it with a live one? Said the worker. The yeshiva student then realized that he recited bracha over the dead elephant. So that's a good question, right? Did he nonetheless fulfill the obligation, or should he now recite the new bracha over the live elephant that had just been brought? So that's the question, right? Is this bracha on the dead elephant, is it valid or not? So that's an amazing question. So you have to go to the best. So let's see. Rabbi Binyamin Zilber in Oz Nidreinu, volume 2, chapter 4, writes that one should not recite bracha over dead animal or monkey, since they're no longer considered creatures. So meaning they change their status. Why? Right? So they're not like creations. It's a dead meat, basically. Right? In support of his ruling, a certain scholar noted an incident recorded by Rav Baruch Epstein Zatzal in Teferes Bracha, Beshalach, page 301. So let's see what Rabbi Epstein, one of the greatest rabbi. Okay, so when did he live? Maybe 19th century, 18th. I don't know. Okay, so it says meeting a Torah scholars. Oh no! So here's the story. A meeting of Torah scholars and community leaders convened on one muktzeh Shabbos in the home of Netziv of Volozhin. So Netziv of Volozhin was actually related to whom? To Rav Yitzchak Zilber from this book Remain a Jew. So he was not from simple descent. He was related to Netziv. Okay, so he's in Volozhin, meaning in Volozhinary yeshiva. It's descendants. From Vilna Gaon, right? Students. Suddenly. So again, there were Torah scholars and community leaders. So they come in on Motzei Shabbos in the home of Netziv of Volozhin. Okay, that's the situation. There is a meeting. Suddenly, the meeting was interrupted by arrival of a man with the urgent halachic question. So I could not wait, right? What? More than 12 years earlier, he had gotten into a fight with his business partner and swore never again look upon his face. Right? That's what some people say, like when they're angry. The partner has just died, and the man was filled with regret over their feud. He wanted to look one last time upon the face of his deceased former partner and ask forgiveness. Would this consider to be a violation of this vow? So that's the question. So he said, "I'm not going to like in case of the Pharaoh, right? First, Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Yeah, okay. As you said, you're not going to see my face again." Okay, so meaning that's what this guy, and he swear. So the question is what to do? Can we cancel the swear, or maybe there is fine? There is fine like that. Okay, so we'll continue. The Netziv presented this question to the assembly of the Torah scholars, giving each one opportunity to say the view of the matter. Meaning we always start with the smaller one, because if Netziv would say something, nobody would argue. It's not fair, right? So you give other people opportunity to speak. Most of them touched upon the point that he had most likely meant to include such a case in his vow. Meaning, right? So most of them said, so meaning that when he was making vow, and as we see it from the story, he was holding by this vow for 12 years. So he meant, I don't want to see you live, and I don't want to see you dead, period. Okay. When it was Baruch Rabbi Epstein's turn to speak, he cited the proof from Parashat Beshalach, from this Parashat, which they had just read this morning in Shul. So it's Motzei Shabbos, so he said, we just read today in Shul. What is it? Sorry. In this parasha, there seems to be a contradiction. In one verse it says, "For you have seen the Egyptian today. For you have seen the Egyptian today, but you will never see them again." Shemos 14:13. Right. So meaning before the crossing of the sea. Right. HaShem said, "You saw them today. That's it. Never again. Just go." Right. Yet after this, the Torah states in verse number 30. Right, in our verse again, Israel saw Egyptian dead on the seashore. HaShem said, "You're never going to see them again." Right, and then he promised us, and now we see them again. It's the same Egyptians that were pursuing us. So it's not that you cannot say different Egyptians. Exactly the same, right? Apparently, the verse that foretold that they would never again see Egyptians meant that they would never see them alive, right? So too can be explained that the man's vow to mean that he would never again see his partner alive. So meaning that, yes, that's Rabbi Baruch Epstein answer. So it's I think brilliant, right? He said we learned today in a parasha, and as our sages say, if you want answer to your life questions, so look at the parasha, look at the commentary, what exactly it means. So I saw myself was amazed, blown off, several times. I don't know, many times, but several times, because I read this commentary a few times. So if you ask me about the specific line and specific commentary, I will tell you. I remember that. But when after some years pass, you read exactly the same commentary, so, whoa, it's exactly about me, right? About now. Okay, so there is the one commentary. Last one offer an alternative explanation that Bnei Israel took only superficial look at the bodies, right? So when you just look at take a glance, so it's not considered looking. So right, so he said don't even think that. But they did not see the individual Egyptians, right? So I mean, they just took a quick glance, but it's not, because why? Because it says Rabbi Epstein pointed out that the Medrash states explicitly that Bnei Israel saw and recognized their former taskmasters, right? So meaning they look at the faces and they recognize all of these people who were their taskmasters. See also Zohar, Parashas Beshalach 53b, Beitz Otzar 7. Continue. So basically what he said, so this sages before Rabbi Epstein said that it's you're not allowed to look at his face, because when you swear, most likely it is included. Rabbi Epstein said no, it was not included. So and then he brings the proof from this parsha, death and life, two different things. Okay, so continue. All of the above seem to easily relate to our case as well, right? The blessing recited over the elephant or the monkey applies only when they see them alive. Seeing that person or that animal is not really considered seeing them, right? Because them, I guess, maybe only also, not only, also in a sense of soul. So our personality, our everything, it's actually in the soul, right? Not in the body. Accordingly, the Shiva students should perhaps recite new bracha of the elephant. So meaning, according to Rabbi Epstein, right? So one thing is, so we're trying to connect two cases. So in this person can go and ask his former business partner forgiveness. He can look at his face, no problem. So because that man is not exactly as same entity as a living one, right? And same as the elephant. So meaning whatever he said on that elephant is useless blessing, bracha v'latala, and he needs to go and say another blessing. Nevertheless, Rabbi Zilberstein Shlita concluded that he should not recite another blessing. So listen to this. In essence, Meshanecha Brios is recited over the sense of the word, of the sense of the wonder one feels upon seeing amazing variety of the creations in HaShem world. So even though the sages say upon these two, but it's because they're the most amazing one. But if you see the amazing creatures and very different people, you also can say different blessing, right? So he said, why you make this blessing in general? This guy did not know whether this elephant was sleeping or not, right? So he looked at the size, the look. Perhaps bracha he recited of the dead elephant was valid, since it appeared to him that elephant was only sleeping. So right, and he was amazed by the shape, right, of the features, and his sense of wonder was no way diminished of this misconception. So I mean, it's a sleeping animal or not. So he was amazed, right? And in parentheses, I'm not sure who is talking here. In parentheses, we might add that the Maharsham, Das Torah 2-6, ruled that the bracha recited upon seeing a flowering fruit tree may be recited even over the tree that has been cut down, if the flowers are still attached and not withered. Okay, so we have actually covered. Where did we cover? In Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, we covered in women's class of practical Halachah. We also covered. So we have this separate mitzvah. Usually, we do it from the beginning of the Nisan until the end of the Nisan. So to say the blessing on a flowering fruit tree, right? So when you have only flowers. So technically, as it says here, so if somebody cut down the tree, I don't know why, it doesn't matter, they cut down the tree, and the tree is going to be alive for, I don't know, for some time, right? So if you have these flowers and they're still intact, you can say blessing. Maybe it's not the best idea to say the blessing because it's not going to bring the fruit. But I'm just adding, right? But technically, after the fact, there is no problem. So in this case, Rabbi Zilbish and Shlita said no need for the next blessing. Okay, that's the story. Okay, any questions on what we said?
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
You're welcome. All right, so no problem, so no question. So let's stop here. So thank you very much for learning with us. It was a very successful week, Baruch HaShem. And let's continue even more next Monday, same time. Thank you and good night.